elimination of Camp Ashraf was first attempted 28-29 July 2009. It has been continuously squeezed till 8 April 2011. They view themselves justified in attacking Camp Ashraf. The terror list has brought Iran and the United States to being on the same team. It is confusing to ourselves and, more importantly, to the world. How can we be on the same side as Iran? And the terror listing must be stopped, and that's a message for Secretary Clinton. Take the MEK off of the list immediately. It is within her capability and hers alone. It is an executive branch authority. The United States and Secretary Clinton are confronted with two extremes in the foreign policy towards Iran. On one far side, there's complete and total acceptance of the status quo. On the other far side, we have forceful military actions to compel compliance by Iran. Most unfortunately, acceptance of status quo is the weak and ineffective imposition of 3 UN Security Council resolutions. On the other hand, the foreign policy to compel Iran into compliance is just not achievable now. The U.S. and allies are too consumed with Iraq, Afghanistan, budget and economic woes to start another military effort. Add those actions in concert with Libya, Bahrain, Syria, and one can see that the world is busy. And while all this is going on, it allows Iran to pursue its goal of regional dominance and continued development of the dreaded nuclear weapons. But please listen. There is an alternative, a middle way that will dramatically affect Iran, distract them from their unacceptable adventures, and potentially create a regime change, a democratic regime change in Iran. This middle way is merely the support of the Iranian opposition, the support of the Iranian resistance, the support of MEK. We can and should do so. They don't ask for anything. They don't want money, weapons, people, logistics, or other support. They just want to be able to restore their homeland by themselves in accordance with the 2004 Statement of Principles as spoken by Madame Rajavi. We must not stand in their way. The immediate revocation is essential. And we can do so because the petition remains with the U.S. government. The federal courts in July in Washington, D.C. directed the State Department to, quote, reconsider its opinion, unquote. The U.S. government already is 70 days late. The court saw no classified or unclassified evidence to retain the terrorist designation. The D.C. Appeals Court is consistent with the European Union, the United Kingdom, and France, all of which have delisted the MEK in the past 2 years. There are over 130 congressmen who supported their delisting. A similar resolution with both bipartisan support are in both houses circulating now. Certainly the State Department can decide on an enlightened and informed and relevant foreign policy that protects the United States, the Middle East, and the people of Iran. Taking the MEK off the terror list is one thing that must be accomplished. The second is the protection of the residents of Camp Ashraf in accordance with the Geneva Convention, in which the residents are designated as protected persons. This protection should be led by the UN, UNAMIN, and security provided by the U.S. troops that would go to Camp Ashraf. We must stay engaged, stay strong, and stay relevant as a world power, and focus on the real enemy, Iran. Second, U.S. diplomats are recommending an internal relocation of the MEK and Camp Ashraf deeper into Iraq. This is really totally unacceptable. It is not a solution, whether it's temporary or permanent, if it stays inside Iraq. Finally, 2 weeks ago, the French government eliminated all, quote, terror charges originally filed against the MEK in 2003. This is a great victory for the MEK, As a result, this even adds to the compelling legal actions for the U.S. to remove the MEK from the terror list. Any exchange of intel on the MEK by governments during the time frame of 2003 or later should also be eliminated. The strongest U.S. war on terror allies, UK, France, and the Western nations of Europe, have taken the MEK off the terror list. We are compelled to do the same. In closing, we Americans as a nation must focus on our key objective, Iran. The MEK is the best dissident group, the best resistance group to prevail over the mullahs in Iran. Let's delist the MEK now. As the Arab Spring grows, let it this time be different. This time we must have a regime change to a democratic society in Iran. Thank you.